Mom, homeschooling and working from home is hard, but it is not impossible. You can do it. And I'm going to tell you how in this week's coffee chat. Hey, Mom. So, welcome to the lifeunboxed.blog momtrepreneur life coffee chat. So, this is a time where we pull back the curtain on life as a homeschool and work from home mom, and we just kind of chat about what that's like. It's unscripted, have a few notes, just more of like, let's have an honest conversation about this because I think some too many times what's on the blog post, what's on Instagram, all those places is just the highlight reel. so, so all the good things that people want to highlight, and we don't always get into the nitty gritty of the hard stuff. Or if they do get into the nitty-gritty, then it's, like, so stinking hard. Why would I ever wanna even do this? I saw one post, and it was like, working from home is like walking a tightrope, juggling flaming swords, and, just on and on and on the description went, and I'm like, "It's that hard." The swords are not always on fire, at least, but, um we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, because I think we need to. So grab your coffee, got mine, and let's get into it. So really, this was inspired by a post in one of my mom groups, and it's a rather large non-group. It's not mom group. It's not my group, but it's one that I'm part of, and like thousands of working homeschool moms in this group. And this person asked, "Is it really possible to do?" And I'm sitting here like, you only have like thousands of moms in here who do it. Like, why would you even like think it's not possible? And so one of the reasons I think that is we've been conditioned to think that, oh, sending kids off to school and doing homework and doing carpool and getting everyone up and out the door and making sure their clothes are on correctly and all that is easy. That is just as hard as, getting up, everyone kind of just wandering down to the breakfast table, still in the PJs because we wear our PJs, and you know what? I don't care. We get to do school in our PJs. I figure if I'm home, I'm going to be as comfortable as possible. Um, there's isn't that morning rush to get out the door. And is homeschooling hard? Yes, it can be. It can be. But I wouldn't say it's any harder than doing that mad dash out the door every morning with your kids. So it really comes down to we choose our hard. Now, for me personally, I've done the carpool, I have done the homework, and I will tell you, I do not understand why they send homework home after 7 hours of being in the classroom. That should not happen. And I know there's all sorts of theories, but I am just saying, like, homework should not be happening. No, that should be family time. Because my kids were in school, so I've done the mad dash and all that stuff. And I got to the point where uh, I almost stopped doing the homework. I'm telling them they didn't have to do it, but I'm too much of a rule follower, so we did it, and they just heard my opinion on it. Um, so really, it's not any one is not any harder than the other. We just choose our hard. So, and part of this post was, um, okay, she had said, like, all of the cleaning house and laundry, dinner, extracurriculars, I'm just not passionate about doing these things. Nobody is. Maybe some are. And you know what? Rock it. If that's what you like to do, then do it. I have mad respect for you. I am passionate about doing those things. I can't stand doing those things. That expectation to be fed every single night just seems a little much. You know what I mean? Um, so, but we don't have to be passionate about something to do it, right? That's kind of a ridiculous measuring stick. If I'm not passionate, then I'm not going to do it. Like, you love your kids, but are you passionate about changing poopy diapers or getting peed and pooped on? Like, seriously, or puked on? Like, are you passionate about that? No. You don't like that part, but you're going to clean up after them and you're going to do it and you're going to love them because that is what you are called to do as a mom. So, the cleaning house, laundry, dinner, all that kind of stuff, you have to be passionate about it. It still does have to get done, but neither do you have to be perfectionist about it either. My house is cluttered because there's so many of us here and like we barely have, enough space for all of our books. So we have, stuff stacked on desks and on end tables and all that good stuff. And you know what? I just accepted the fact that this is how it was going to be while there's so many of us living in the house. And you know what? It's okay. So I'm not passionate about being a minimalist and I'm not passionate about being uh doing all these domesticated things. Like I'm not. I do them because they need to get done, but you don't have to be passionate about them to be a work from home mom or a homeschool mom. Okay? That's ridiculous. Let's just be honest. That's ridiculous. But I think part of the problem is if you're a project oriented person, it is easier to measure your success when you work than it is when you're doing the dishes for like the 20th time that day. And I think I've washed this cup like 3 times already. Uh, when it comes to, I guess, the domestic side of being a mom, it is never ending. And when you're task oriented and project oriented, which is how I am, uh, I feel more satisfied working because I'm accomplishing projects. There's actually like a start and an end, even if it's a long project. There's a start and an end, and I can see the outcome. I don't get that same feeling from doing the dishes or cooking one more time. I just don't. And so I also have to recognize that that is part of my personality. It's not necessarily a flaw in my personality. It could be. Our strengths are also our weaknesses. It's usually how it works. But um understand your own personality as well. So if you're finding more satisfaction in working, and you might, it could be because you're project oriented, though, not because you're actually like so passionate about the work you do. It could be you're passionate about seeing, like, checking things off your list. So if that's the case, put dinner on your to do list, put dishes on your to do list, and baby, give yourself a gold star every time you do it. Okay? Because it's just how your brain works and you need the gold star. So then do it. Um, so I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, so I think people who are project oriented also tend to be workaholics. And so, again, because we like the satisfaction of seeing those check marks or those gold stars, or however you want to describe it, being able to measure our accomplishments concretely. And so you also tend to be a workaholic. And that's why when you do work from home and you homeschool, you actually need to set boundaries for yourself. I have boundaries, and I don't necessarily tell my clients like what they are. I will tell them my office hours because I don't work on Fridays, and I want that to be very clear. But um for the most part, like, I the boundaries are for me. And once my computer is shut off, that is it for the day. That is my close sign on the door. So, whatever you need to do, because it's not healthy to be a workaholic. So, whatever you need to do to set those boundaries, do it. If you can't close the door to your office, because I don't have a door on my office, close your computer, and that's the close sign for the day. So another question that was in that post was, how long do you actually homeschool and what do you do for the rest of the day? Now, these are great questions, especially if you're new and starting out. because when you're transitioning from public school to homeschool, you kind of still think that you should be doing 7 hours of school. That's what equals a school day. It does not. Most even homeschool state or even states that require certain hours of homeschool, usually the requirement is like 4 hours. So, because this is what happens when you're in school, you have recess, you have um, lunch, you have a whole bunch of extracurriculars, you have classroom management that takes up a lot of time. You have lining up to go to the next class that takes a lot of time. So you have a lot of things that suck up a lot of time and are not actually learning time. So when we talk about homeschool and how much it takes, we're actually talking about like learning time. So we're not including lunch. We're not including, standing in line to go to the next classroom. All those things that are just time sucks in the teacher's day. So that's why it's 4 hours. And also, that does not mean it's 4 hours of staring at textbooks. It's any kind of learning. And I do have another show on that, and I will leave that in the link below. So we're not going to get into it here because I do like to keep these short. And so we're going over what I normally like to stay within. So we're going to wrap it up here. But your school day, so the actual schoolwork may take 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the kids. If they're in kindergarten, it should be 15 to 30 minutes. That is how long you should spend. And here's the thing, you don't want to burn your kids out on learning, and you don't want to burn yourself out on learning. So then that means you have all this extra time during the day. And I understand with young kids that can be harder because they need more supervision. So my suggestion would be to have a room or an area that's kid proofed. So you don't have to worry about them getting into anything. And there's plenty of toys in there, some place where you can keep an eye on them, but you don't have to be watching them like a hawk. So, um, if you can find a space, even if you have to like create the space, um, figure out a way to do that. And then I wouldn't put all the toys in there. I would rotate toys either throughout the day or throughout the week. And so it also keeps their interest going as well. And I know because we're such good moms, we always, stay away from the screen time. Use the screen time if you have to and if you need to. If you feel like you could easily go overboard, then again, set a time frame. So all of my kids get 2 hours of electronic time a day. So my youngest, who is currently 3, she gets her electronic time while the older kids are doing schoolwork. So she gets her 2 hours in the morning while the older kids are doing schoolwork, and then she doesn't get anything else after that. And the older kids will get theirs in the afternoon when they're finished with their schoolwork. So it's okay to use the tools you have available, even if it is screen time. So as we wrap up this coffee chat, working and homeschooling is hard, but you are choosing your hard. So taking the kids to public school and working, that is just as hard. You are choosing your hard. But it is totally possible. We have thousands of moms who have been doing it for years now. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. So before anybody else was doing it, I was doing it. I have done it with babies, toddlers, infants. At every stage, I have homeschooled and worked from home. So I say all that to say, if you have any questions, I have so many solutions for you. Be sure to let me know in the comments below because I am here to answer your questions, but I am not telepathic. So you actually have to ask. If you don't want to ask in the comments, then shoot me an email, hello@lifeunboxed.blog, and let me know what your question is when it comes to homeschooling and working from home at any stage, because I got you covered. And that is a wrap for this week's coffee chat. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you're watching or listening because it really um, appeases the algorithm gods. and follow Life Unboxed blog on social media. And I will see you in the next show.